Imagine a world where your car could run on water. Not ethanol, not hydrogen, just plain old H2O. No gas station stops, no emissions, just a simple, silent revolution. Sounds like science fiction, right? But once upon a time in America, it almost happened. Buried deep in the annals of automotive history is the story of an experimental V8 engine that promised to change everything, and then disappeared without a trace. This is not just a story about a car or a motor, it's about ambition, conspiracy, forgotten innovation, and the immense power of the oil and automotive industries. It's a cautionary tale about what happens when innovation collides with entrenched interests. This is the story of the water-powered V8 that America built, briefly tested, and then abandoned. Or, some say, deliberately buried. To understand why a water-powered engine was even considered, we need to rewind to the 1970s. Post-war America was a car-hungry nation. Big blocks, muscle cars, burnouts at the drag strip, gasoline was cheap, and V8 engines ruled the streets. But then came the oil crisis. In 1973, Arab nations declared an oil embargo that sent gas prices through the roof. Drivers waited in lines that stretched for miles, and suddenly, fuel efficiency became more than a footnote. The American automotive industry, once fat and happy with excess, was caught unprepared. That crisis sparked a flurry of innovation, some brilliant, some bizarre. Engineers everywhere started asking, what if we didn't need gasoline at all? What if we could run engines on something else, something abundant, cheap, and safe? Among the tinkerers and engineers who rose to this challenge was a little-known inventor from Ohio named Stanley Meyer. He wasn't the only one working on alternative fuels, but his claim stood out. He said he had developed a device that could split water into hydrogen and oxygen using a small electrical charge, a process known as electrolysis, and then burn that hydrogen in a conventional internal combustion engine. His most famous demonstration came in the form of a dune buggy. It looked ordinary, except it didn't carry a fuel tank, only a water tank. According to Meyer, the buggy could run on nothing but water. He claimed to have modified a standard V8 engine to accept the hydrogen produced on board by his water fuel cell. The media jumped on the story. Local news stations aired footage of the buggy cruising around Ohio streets. Some scientists were skeptical, others intrigued. A few independent observers verified that the buggy ran, but how? They weren't sure. Meyer was tight-lipped about the details. He patented his technology, but refused to release the full specifications. He said, "I have to protect myself. If I were to open up everything, I would probably be eliminated." And that's when things got strange. In the years that followed, Meyer's work gained both admirers and enemies. He attracted interest from foreign governments, venture capitalists, even the Pentagon. But he also drew attention from more shadowy places. Lawsuits started piling up, accusations of fraud swirled. Then in 1998, Stanley Meyer died suddenly after a lunch meeting with two Belgian investors. Officially, he suffered a cerebral aneurysm, but his brother claimed Stanley ran out of the restaurant shouting, "They poisoned me." The coroner's report said natural causes. The conspiracy theorists weren't so sure. With Meyer gone, the project died. His dune buggy disappeared, his patents expired, the water-powered V8 faded into obscurity. But was it all a hoax? Or was there something real, something dangerous behind the invention? To answer that, we have to dig into the science. Electrolysis isn't new. Splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen is straightforward, in a lab. But doing it efficiently, in real time, with minimal energy input, that's the holy grail. Critics of Meyer say his system violated the laws of thermodynamics, that it would take more energy to split the water than you'd get back from burning the hydrogen. But others argue he wasn't using conventional electrolysis. His patents described a process involving high-frequency voltage, pulsed current, and resonance, a kind of harmonic trick to reduce energy input. It's complex, controversial, and never independently replicated. Meanwhile, other manufacturers were trying different paths. General Motors and Ford explored ethanol and propane. Chrysler looked into turbine engines. Honda and Toyota later pioneered hybrid systems. But nobody else went all in on water. Why? Because the oil industry was watching. It's no secret that big oil has historically had enormous influence over energy policy, transportation infrastructure, and even scientific research. A vehicle that ran on water would have been an existential threat. Some allege, though it's never been proven, that oil lobbyists pressured regulators and discredited Myers' work behind the scenes. Others think the threat was psychological. Even the idea of a water car was too dangerous to allow into the mainstream. Whatever the truth, the American V8 that ran on water was never mass-produced. No automaker picked it up, no academic lab confirmed it. Myers' workshop was raided, his notes vanished, and the world moved on. But people didn't forget. Today, the legend of the water-powered V8 still circulates in forums, YouTube videos, and underground engineering communities. Tinkerers attempt to recreate Myers' fuel cell. Conspiracy channels dissect every frame of his old TV interviews. And some people claim, quietly, to be driving on water even now. If true, it would be a seismic shift. Imagine a world where cars emit only steam, where wars over oil become irrelevant, where developing nations leapfrog the fossil fuel economy entirely. That's the dream that Myers sold. That's the dream that died with him, or perhaps was killed. But even if the original technology never returns, its legacy endures. It raised fundamental questions about energy, innovation, and the forces that shape our future. Why do disruptive inventions so often disappear? Who gets to decide what's real and what's junk science? And how many revolutionary ideas have we lost, not because they didn't work, but because they worked too well? In a world struggling with climate change, oil dependence, and energy inequality, the ghost of the water-powered V8 still haunts the garage of human possibility. Maybe someday, someone will open that garage door again. Until then, we'll keep telling these stories because buried under layers of skepticism and silence might just be the future we were promised. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more forgotten innovations, buried truths, and inventions the world wasn't ready for. Next up, the jet engine that almost replaced the car engine and why it was banned before it even hit the road.